guys, and welcome back to my world. Today I'm going to show you how to test for an item, either in the active slot, in the player's inventory, if the player is using it, and so forth. Okay, so there's a couple of blocks I set up here to show you how this works. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check if I am actually in an active slot. Okay, so as usually I'm going to build up these commands. So first off, I'm going to test for at player, selected item slot. Now it has to be spelled exactly the same with the capitals and exactly the same places, :0. So this will check if I have an active slot. If you have a look at my active slot at the bottom there, okay, active slot 0 is the first slot. That's slot number 1, slot number 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So if I click this button, nothing will happen because I'm not on the active slot. If I select that slot, okay, you'll see, ta-da! Okay, the player has got the active slot. So if I go back again, I try it again, you'll see it's not active. If I do the active slot, it works. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to test for an item. Now, I'm going to just use the diamond sword for an example. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to test if a player has the diamond sword in their inventory. Now this didn't work before this particular snapshot because we couldn't do partial NBT matches. We had to match the complete and utter inventory to be able to detect this. So we started using the things of the clear 00. Okay, we no longer need to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a test for, okay, inventory. Now all of these commands is in the description. Okay. Go and copy them, go and look at how they work, and so forth. Unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to explain why you have brackets where you have brackets and so forth. But just go copy them and look at them. Okay, so inventory. Now I have the square bracket. Now I will explain this. So the square bracket just means that anything inside the square brackets has to do with the inventory. So I'm going to check for just one item. The item's ID is a Minecraft diamond sword. Okay, if I remove this from my inventory, so if I get rid of that and I press that button, you'll see nothing works. It doesn't succeed. If I take that sword, you'll see it works. Now, it doesn't matter where in my inventory that is, it'll be fine. It'll work and it'll absolutely be okay. So let me just do that. You'll see it still finds it. If I get rid of it, okay, it can't find it. If I take it, let me just put it in a different slot, put it over there. There you go, it's found it. Okay, so that is kind of cool. This will just test if an item is in their inventory. Now what we want to do is we want to test if that item is in a particular slot. Now this becomes very, very handy if you're doing armor to see if somebody's actually wearing armor, because you can do that now. Do go and watch Seth Blink's video. He did one where I think the armor slot for the boots he did was like 100, slot number 100. Okay, so this is it. It starts getting a bit more complicated. Okay, I've just thrown in that R to show you guys that I don't activate these things if I'm further away. Okay, so first of all, we're going to do an inventory again. Okay, then we're going to do a slot 0. So slot 0 is the first slot in my inventory. The B we need to add because this has to do with the NBT data, which you don't have to worry about. Just be sure that when you copy this command, where I'm using a B, you need to use a B. Where I'm using an S, you need to use an S. Okay, I think it's bytes and strings. Okay, bits and strings. Next, ID, what it is that I have. Okay, that's it. Slot 0 and the ID. So if I hit this now, it won't activate because I don't have the sword in the slot 0. So if I go to slot 0 and I test it now, you'll see it works because I have it in slot 0. If I take it to slot number 1, you'll see it'll now fail. Okay, so you'll see it'll fail. Okay, so let me just put this back into slot 0 and then test it again, and there we go. Now, a conclusion to all of these three, when we combine them, okay, so when we combine the active slots, we combine them with the item detection, and we combine them with the item slot, we can actually detect if a person is using a certain item, for example. So, as you can see here, we are now going to combine the commands. So we're going to go selected item slot from the first one. We're then just going to add that to the inventory of the third one. There we go. So now, if I hit this, nothing will happen. Okay, so even though I have the item and it is in the first slot, nothing will happen. It's only when I actually select the item, when I have the item in my hand, that it'll activate. So if I take it out and I activate it, nothing will happen. When I have it in my hand, it happens. Okay, so this is very, very useful in a later video that I'll show you guys, which is going to be out later this week. It's going to be very, very handy to see that. Okay, then I just wanted to show you, when you look working with named items, it's actually a lot more difficult. Okay, so first off, it's exactly the same inventory, but this time we've got a tag. Okay, very important. We've got a tag, the display a name equals name : ice blade. Okay, so this will detect if I have an ice blade in my inventory. Okay, so you'll see I didn't put a slot on there because I'm not testing for a slot. Now here I have an ice blade. If I now hit this button, you'll see yes, it found it. Okay, and the next for test for named item and slot, and if it is active. So I'm just combining all of this now. Selected item slot equals 0, inventory slot 0b, tag display name ice blade. Okay, right. So once again, if I hit this, nothing will happen because it's not in the 0 slot. If I move these two around and I now hit it, you'll see it works. Okay, how wonderful is that? That's amazing. That's pretty cool. Now using that, you can do stuff like this. Okay, game mode 0. Okay, so using that, you can now actually start having special kind of weapons. Okay, all of the descriptions, all of the actual codes is in the description. Go look at them, go copy them. Make sure you're on Minecraft 1.8 or at least snapshot 14W07A. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will check you all later.